All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you joining me in this webinar. Today, we are going to solve some really interesting GMAT geometry questions based out of quadrilaterals. Now, before I begin anything else, I would just like to understand if you all can hear me clearly. Can you please mark a yes in the poll that I've posted over here? If you all can hear me clearly, just mark a yes over here, please. All right, the audio is loud and clear. Thank you for all of your answers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hide out the poll over here and clear all the answers. Just give me one moment. All right, so yes, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you from wherever you're joining us from for this geometry webinar that we are conducting today. Now, this is a very application-based webinar, and that is the reason we had sent out some videos and files to all of you so that you are prepared for the webinar and you know how to solve questions that we would be going through and will be solving in this webinar. If you have not watched those files, I would recommend all of you to watch those files after the session is done. And you can do that by just going into your e-GMAT free trial or your e-GMAT account and just checking out the videos over here. The links for those videos are over here, as you can see. With that, let me hide out the pod over here. Let's talk about the next set of webinars. Now, we at e-GMAT constantly thrive for your success, and for the same reason, we conduct webinars every weekend, both on Saturdays and Sundays. The next Saturday, we have a GMAT strategy webinar. In that webinar, we are going to discuss about how do you create a personalized study plan to make sure you reach your 99 percentile score in record time, A, and B, what are the metrics and the things that you need to track, the data that you need to track to ensure you are treading the right path. So that's going to happen next Saturday, which is July 17th. The time for that webinar would be the same. That is 7 a.m. PST or 7:30 a.m. 7:30 p.m. IST. The next day, that is on Sunday, July 18th, we are having a GMAT number properties webinar. Now, in this webinar, we are going to talk about how to solve questions based out of divisibility and remainders within 2 minutes with 100% accuracy. And mind you, all these questions are above that 700 level, right? So we'll teach you how to do that much efficiently. To register for both these webinars, you can simply click on the register now button that you can see over the screen over here. We also have another webinar that's on 14th of July, 8 p.m. IST, which is 7:30 a.m. PST. And in this webinar, we have Dhananjay, who is one of our ex-GMAT, e-GMAT students, and he would be talking about what does it take to earn $500K scholarships, worth of scholarships. So he applied to a bunch of B schools. He got a very good GMAT score, and then he'll be talking about how to get scholarships and then how to strategically select your B schools, and then obviously personalizing your MB applications, because that's also something that's that is coming very soon for all of you, because you are also taking the GMAT very soon. Again, to register for that webinar, you can simply click on get your session pass that you can see over here, and that would take you to the registration page that we have. With that, I'll hide out this poll as well. And yes, so I have two questions for all of you. The first question is, when are you planning to take the GMAT? So let's get some more answers. Let me give you another 5 to 10 seconds, and let's see some more people answering this, please. Okay, last 3 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'm going to end the poll. So what I can see over here, that almost 40%, if you have not decided the date yet, three people are taking the test within the next 15 days. A fair share of people taking the test in the next 16 to 30, 31 to 45, and 45 to 60. Now, in this webinar, what I'll try to help all of you is to understand how to solve GMAT geometry questions, and B, what are the various process skills that are required, to help you to, and I'll make you understand that if you develop those process skills within your bucket, solving questions becomes very easy. So that's also something that we are going to look for today's session. All right, with that, one more small question from my end. What scares you in geometry? Let's get your answers for this poll over here. Let's take 15 seconds to mark the answer for this one. All right, I'm going to end the poll. So let's look at the results. So what I can see over here is three very important things. A, you take a lot of time while solving the questions in geometry. Okay. B is you are not able to apply the concepts that you've learned, and then three, which is also something that I believe in, is you have a lot of formulas in geometry, and keeping all of that in mind, becomes a very hectic task, right? So today in this session, let's try to figure out how to solve geometry questions effectively. With that, I'll take you to the next screen over here. Let me very quickly get the yes no poll. All right, can you please mark a yes if you all can see my screen? The presentation, I mean. It's the first page says geometry quant live session. Please mark a yes. It typically takes you somewhere around 10 seconds, For people for whom it has not yet loaded, just wait for 10 seconds. It'll load at your end as well. When that loads at your end, please change your vote from a no to a yes so that I can understand when to start. All right, with that, let's just run you through the logistics for this session. Now, you can see three polls over here. One is the yes no poll. Now, the yes no poll is so in that same place, we'll also have the other poll, that is your mark your answer poll. So I don't want you people to mark answers in the short answer poll or the Q&A pod that you can see over here. I want you to mark all of your answers in the poll that I would be giving you, right? At the right of your screen, you can also see a short answer poll. Now, we would use this for any question that you have pertaining to any question or anything that I ask you. If I ask a question, please put your answers over here. And throughout the session, if you have any questions or doubts, you can put that in the Q&A pod, which you can see at the bottom of your screen. Right. So with that, I will get started. And for people who for whom the PPT has loaded, please mark a yes. Guys, I can still see 7 people marking a no. I would like them to change that. If the PPT has loaded at your end, please change your no vote to a yes vote, please. And again, if it's not yet loaded, what I would recommend is just log out once, log in once more. That'll solve out that issue. It won't be any more issue, I guess. Also, if you're logging through the browser, I would recommend you to use the Adobe Connect app. The app is much faster. It's very seamless in nature. So yes, for the 5 people for whom the PPT has not yet loaded, I'd recommend all of you to just log out once and then log in again. That would solve that for you. Right, with that, let's move ahead and let me very quickly take my pen over here. Let's take red. Okay, and I'll hide my palette. All right, that sounds fair. So now let me introduce myself. I am Atreya. I'll be your primary host for today's session. With me, I'll be having Harsha, who'd be joining me in a bit, and he would be your secondary host for today's session, my support for today's session. I and Harsha both are GMAT strategy experts here at e-GMAT, and we have been into the GMAT space for quite a lot of time. I personally have mentored more than 4,000 students in the GMAT space. So let's start off with the agenda and the purpose for this session. In this session, I would help you understand two very key things. One is you need to have a very sound understanding of the basics. Second, you need to have structured approach to solving questions, and only then you'd be able to ace GMAT Quant. Trust me, through the session that we have for today, by the time we solve the last 1-2 questions, you would understand that these two things are the zenith pointers that are there. And once you master these two things, that is one concept. Second is your approach and application of the concepts. Then things become very easy for you. With that, let's now move ahead and understand how would we proceed and progress in the session. And with that, let me also clear the poll over here. Okay, so what I have for today's session is 4 warm-up questions. Now, these warm-up questions are around that 550, 560 level. And then, so this is only a supercharger for all of you. Once this is done, we'll move on to sprint 1. In sprint 1, I have 3 questions, and the level of difficulty for these ones is around that 650 to 700. Then I have 3 more questions in sprint 2. The level of difficulty remains same, slightly higher. And then the 2 very important questions that I have for you in sprint 3, both of these are 700 plus level questions. So with this, let's get started. What I do, I'll not time you, in this session. In this session, you guys would time yourself, right? So what I'll do is I'll give you the poll for today's session. Just give me a moment over here. So yes, I'll give you the poll. I want all of you to mark a still solving. And for people who have already attended our previous sessions, they already know this, right? So I want you to mark a still solving. When I see that, 80% of you have marked another choice apart from the choice, the apart from still solving, I'll call it time, right? So I don't time yourself in this session. You guys time yourself, right? So I have 36 people. I have almost 100 people in the session, right? I want at least 60 of you, at least 50 of you mark a still solving, please. I only have 36 people. Guys, let's be a bit more proactive over here. And the faster you mark still solving, the faster you get the next question, right? So let's get 50 people, please. I have 43 people over here. Let's get 50 people mark a still solving. Come on, show me some energy over here. I am at 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Okay, that is perfect for me. All right, with that, let's now move ahead to the warm-up section. In the warm-up section, we'll discuss basic questions on quadrilaterals. I'll also give you the feedback on your current conceptual knowledge. And then obviously, we're going to discuss the solutions and how do you approach the questions in the most effective manner. With that, I can see some of you have marked choice here without me giving the question to all of you. So please don't mark a choice before I have given you the question. With that, let's move ahead and solve the first question that I have over here. All the best, all of you. Right, last 10 seconds, guys. If you've not marked your answer, please mark it very, very quickly. I'm only going to give you another 10 seconds. Three, two, and one. Okay, I'm going to end the poll and broadcast the results. So what I can see over here that 70% of you tell me that the answer for this question is choice E. 13% of you tell me that is choice A. So let's look. Now, for the question tells me for a rectangle, sorry for that, yes. So for a rectangle whose adjacent sides in inches are consecutive integers between 1 and 4. So the perimeter is P, the area is A. Which of the following is true? This is what is asked in the question, right? So what's the first thing that I look over here? It's given that there are consecutive integers between 1 and 4. Now, if they're consecutive in nature, right? If they're consecutive in nature and they are between 1 and 4, the only two possible numbers are 2 and 3. So one the length or the width is equal to 2, and the other the length of the other side would be equal to 3. So with that, if the side lengths are 2 and 3, then what would be the perimeter? The perimeter would be twice of the length plus twice of the length plus the width, right? So length is equal to 2, let's say, the width is equal to 3, or vice versa. So essentially my perimeter would be twice of 2 plus 3, which is equal to 5, which is equal to 10 units. Now, I also need to calculate the area. How do I calculate the area of a rectangle? It's simple as length times width, right? So it's equal to 2 times 3, which is equal to 6. Now, over here, what you can see is the value of P is greater than the value of A. So the perimeter is greater than the area. Hence, the correct answer choice for this question is choice E. Very, very simple, not at all that difficult. We only had one constraint to look at. I hope this is clear to all of you. With that, I'll move on to the next question. Same process. Please mark as still solving. I'll give question number 2 right away. Let's get 50 people mark as still solving. I am at a 25 right now. Again, the faster you mark as still solving, the faster you get the question, guys. So please be a bit more proactive and mark the answer. All right, let's now move into question number 2 here on your screen. All the best for this one. All right, last 10 seconds, all of you. If you not mark the answer, please mark it so that we can discuss the solution. I'll also end the poll in another 8 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. All right, so let me end the poll and broadcast the results. Now, what I can see over here is 16% of you have not solved this question. 65% of you have marked choice E as the right answer for this question, that is 196. So let's very quickly check out the answer for this one. Now, what's given in the question? The rectangles A and B have same perimeter. Rectangle A is 10 meter long and has an area of 250 meters. Now, if it's 10 meter long and has an area of 250 meters, I already know that the value of area is nothing but length times width. So from here, I get the value of the width, that is equal to 25 meters over here. So what would be the perimeter for this rectangle? It would be twice of the length plus the width, right? So 2 times 35, which is equal to 70. So I have the perimeter for the second rectangle. It's given in the question that both the rectangles have the same perimeter. So even the second perimeter, second rectangle has a perimeter of 70 units. Now, so essentially what does that mean? It means that twice of L, which is the length of this perimeter, plus 7, because I have been given the width over here, is equal to 70, from which I get the length of this rectangle to be equal to 28. Now for this rectangle, I have the width which is equal to 7 meter. I have the length which is equal to 28. I need to find out the area that would be equal to 28 times 7, which is 196. That means choice E is the correct answer choice for this question. Okay, absolutely correct for this one. We'll again move ahead with the next one. Same process. Please mark us still solving. Let's get 50 people mark us still solving, and I'll share the question. I'll share the third question with all of you. I have 43 people. Let's get 7 more people very, very quickly. Okay, I have my numbers. So let's move on to question number 3 here on your screen. All the best for this one. All right, last 10 seconds for this one, guys. If you've not marked the answer, please mark it. Three, two, and one. I'm going to end the poll and broadcast the results. So 68% if you tell me that the answer for this question is choice C. Almost around, what's that? 12, 18, almost 20% if you tell me it's choices A, B, D, or E. So again, very simple question, not at all that difficult. Let's look what do we have here. In the given figure, so this is a figure that's given to us, AE and BF are perpendicular to CD. The area of rectangle ABEF. So the figure ABEF here is a rectangle. That means this is a 90 degree. This is a 90 degree. Essentially, what's given in the prior statement only, right? The area is given as 64 square centimeter. I know that the value of AB is equal to 8. CD is equal to 12. I need to find out the area of trapezoid. The first thing is to calculate through the area of the rectangle. Now, in this question, it's given that the area is equal to 64 square centimeter, right? And we know that the area of any rectangle is given by the product of its length times its width. So the length over here is AB, the width over here is BF or AE, right? So if this is 64, 8 times AE is equal to 64, that essentially means that AE is equal to 8. Now, what do I need to find out? I need to find out the area of trapezoid. Very, very important formula over here. The area of a trapezoid is given by this formula, which is half times sum of parallel sides times the height of the trapezoid. So that means half of, what are the parallel sides over here? AB and CD. So half of AB plus CD, that is 8 plus 12, which is equal to 20, times the height, that is the length of AE, which is equal to 8 that we have found out. Simplify this, you'd get the final answer to be 80 square centimeter. That makes choice C the correct answer choice for this question. With that, I hope the solution is clear to all of you. Let me very quickly reopen the poll and clear all the answers. Let's get my still solvings over here, and then let's move to question number 4. Okay, I have 35 people who have marked still solving. I need another 15. Let's do this very quickly, guys. Let's move to question number 4. The fourth question is a very interesting one. Okay, I have my 50 people over here. This is question number 4. All the best for this one. All right, last 5 seconds to mark the answer for this one. Last 5 seconds only. If you've not marked the answer for this one, please mark it. 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'm going to end the poll, broadcast the results. So what I can see over here is 76% of you tell me that the answer for this question is choice D, that is 36 square units. So let's get started. Now, what's given in the question? The area of the square ABCD is 81 square units. The difference between the perimeters of square ABCD and smaller square PQRS is equal to 12 units. So I have two squares, very, very important, because if I'm given a square, the side lengths are equal, right? So this is also a square, the larger one, the one that we have inside it is also a square. Okay, the area of the largest square, that is ABCD, is given as 81 units. If the area is 81 units, then the length of the larger square would be equal to 9 units, right? The side length of the larger square would be equal to 9 units. Let us assume that the side length of the smaller square is equal to S. This is an assumption that we have made. Now, what's given in the question? The difference of what? The perimeter of the bigger rectangle or square minus the perimeter of the smaller square. Now, that difference is given as 12. Now, I know that perimeter of any square is given by the formula 4 times the side length, right? So for the larger square, it's 4 times 9, which is equal to 36. And for the smaller square, it's 4 times S, which is equal to 4S. So 12 minus 36 it would be equal to minus 4S. I just took 36 to the left hand side, and then simplifying this, I get the value of S to be equal to 6. Now, what do I need to find out? I need to find out the area of the smaller triangle, smaller square over here. So what's the formula for area? It's side square. So with that, I can clearly find out it's 6 times 6, which is equal to 36 square units. And for that, the answer for this question is choice D. Again, very straightforward, not that much difficult, right? So the only formulas that we used over here was area of rectangle, or area of a square rather, and perimeter of a square. So all the four questions that we saw over here are based out of perimeter of a very simple quadrilateral, which is either a rectangle or a square, areas of quadrilaterals that might be a rectangle, a square, or a trapezoid. I hope the formulas for all of this is clear to all of you. So that brings us to the end of the warm-up section. Just one thing over here, and before I go to that, I'll just reopen the short answer poll. Tell me, out of the four questions that we saw, how many did you get correct? Very quickly in the short answer poll. How many did you get correct out of the five questions that we had over here? All four. That is so good. Again, these questions are easy, right? So I expect all of you to get all these correct. However, if you made a mistake in any of these, please make sure you take that learning, because the next questions that we would be having are slightly challenging, and then will slightly increase the level of difficulty going to those 700 level questions. All right, so with that, let's now move ahead. Please also understand that GMAT won't ask you these questions. If you're getting these questions, you're not performing that good in the GMAT test. The GMAT questions would require a much advanced level of application of these concepts. So please make sure you understand these concepts in and out. Okay, so with that, let's move on to sprint one. Very similar like the last activity only. Please mark us still solving. Let's get 50 people over here. And then I'll move on to the first question in sprint one. Okay, I have 43 people. I need 7 more. Very quickly, guys. Let's do this very, very quickly. I have 49. Okay, perfect. Let's move on to the first question. Here you go. All the best for this one. All right, last 5 seconds for this one. If you have not marked your answer, please mark it in the poll, please. Not in the Q&A pod or in the short answer pod, only in the poll, please. 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to end the poll and broadcast the results. 71% if you tell me that the answer for this question is choice B, that is 10 units. Now, very quickly, let's check. What's given in the question? Square ABCD of side 15 units and trapezoid PQRS of this have the same area. Okay. If PQ is parallel to RS and the value of PQ is equal to 20 units, the value of RS is given as 25 units, you need to find out the height of this trapezoid. So let's first visualize, use this process killer visualization to understand what are the two figures that's given to us. We have been given a square. The side of this square is 15 units. And then we have been given a trapezoid. And it's given that the value of PQ is equal to 20. The value of RS is equal to 25. Let's assume one thing. Let's draw the perpendicular for this trapezoid, or essentially the height for the trapezoid. Let's mark that as PE, which is the height for the trapezoid. Now, the area of these two figures, the square and the trapezoid, are equal, right? So what's the area of a square? It's the product of the sides, which is equal to 15 times 15, which is equal to 225 units. What's the area of a trapezoid? It's half times sum of the parallel sides times the height over here. So what are the two parallel sides? It's 20 and 25. So the sum is equal to 45. Then I have the height. Now, both these quantities are equal, right? So 225 is equal to half times 20 plus 25 times PE. Or if you take the half to the right hand side, to the left hand side, if you multiply it by 2, I get a 450 in the LHS of this equation. Then 20 plus 25 corresponds to 45. Then I have PE. You simplify this, the answer for this would be equal to 10 units. So the answer for this question is choice B, which 72% of you got correct. I don't know, this was not that difficult, right? So the remaining 28% of you who could not get this question correct, I hope the solution is clear to all of you. Again, at any point in time, if you have any question or doubt regarding the solution, please make sure you post that in the Q&A pod where we can take that and help you out with that. With that, let me reopen the poll again, clear all the answers, and very, very quickly, let's get the still solving for the next question, that is print 1 question number 2. And we are keeping a very good pace, right? So it's only 30 minutes into the webinar. We have solved 5 questions already. So yes, I am at a 46. Let's get 4 more people, guys. Very, very quickly, please. 47, 48. Okay, I have my people over here. Let's get to question number 2. All the best for this one. All right, everyone, last 5 seconds to mark your answer. 75% if you have already marked the answer. I'm just waiting for another 25%, the remaining people. If you just mark the answer very quickly, if you have not marked it yet, and let's discuss this one. All right, 3, 2, 1, and I'm ending the poll. Let me broadcast the results. 68% of you tell me that the answer for this question is choice B, and the rest of you are not decided between A, B, C, A, B, A, C, D, or E. So almost the same number over here. Okay, let's now move into the next part. So what's given in this question? It's given that in the given figures, I've been given a figure as you can see, AE and BF are perpendicular to CD. Okay, so these two are perpendiculars over here. The area of the trapezoid ABCD is given as 32 centimeters square. Okay, perfect. AB is equal to 6 centimeter. FC is equal to 2 centimeters. So this is equal to 6. FC, that is this small length, that's equal to 2. The midpoint of EF, okay, so there's a midpoint of EF is equal to the midpoint of CD as well. I need to find out the area of the rectangle ABFE. So now I'll first draw the midpoint of this line EF or CD. Let me call that as point M. Right now, it's given that what do I need to find? I need to find the area of the rectangle ABFE. Now, what's the area of a rectangle? It's length times the width. What's the length of this rectangle? It's equal to 6 centimeter times AE, which is the width of this rectangle, right? Now, I've also marked the midpoint of EF to be equal to M. Now, with that, what's the area of a trapezoid? The area of a trapezoid is given by the formula half times the sum of the parallel sides times the height of the trapezoid, and that, according to the question, is equal to 32 centimeters square. So 32 is equal to half times, okay, what's the two parallel sides? Is AB, which is equal to 6, plus CD. I do not know the value of CD as of yet, times AE. I do not know the value of AE as well, right? So 64 is equal to 6 plus CD times AE. How do I get 64? I've just multiplied both the sides of this equation by 2 to cancel off this half that I had over here. Now, the next part, very interesting over here, is since ABFE is a rectangle, then the length of AB would be equal to the length of EF, right? So that means the length of EF is equal to 6 centimeter. Now, since M is the midpoint of EF, the length of MF would be equal to 3 centimeter. And I also know that FC is given as 2 centimeter according to the question. So that means the length of CM, that is from this midpoint to here, it's equal to 5 centimeter. Also keep in mind that this point M is the midpoint of CD as well. If this is the midpoint of CD, the value of CD would be twice of 5, which is equal to 10 centimeter. Now, I can put this 10 centimeter, that's the value of CD, in this expression over here. What do I get? I get 64 to be equal to 16, that is 6 plus 10 times AE. That gives me the value of AE to be equal to 4 centimeter. Now, if I have the value of AE, I can simply put it in this equation over here, because I need to find out the area of the rectangle ABFE, right? So I'll put it over here. My final answer for that question would be equal to 24 centimeters square. That is choice B, according to the choices I had given you. So answer for this question is choice B. Good job. The 70% of you marked the answer. The remaining 30% of you, now this was not that difficult, right? Again, I want all of you to get these questions correct. For everyone who could not get it correct, I hope the solution is now clear to you. In case the solution is not clear to you, just let me know. I'll help you out understand this as well. But again, I'm sure that it's now clear to all of you. Aditya has a question for me. How to get the list of the questions? I'll share the PDF with all of you, do not worry. Okay, let me clear all the answers over here. You open the poll. Let's move on to question number 3. Please mark us still solving very, very quickly. So Aditya, I'll share the PDF with you. Do not worry for that. You'll get the questions over there. Okay, I have 36 people. I need 50 people. Guys, please. So some of you marked still solving in the last question, did not mark it over here. Guys, please, just be a bit more proactive. We're doing some really wonderful questions over here. All right, I have my number. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 3. All the best for this one. All right. Last 10 seconds for the answer for this question. If you've not marked it, please mark it. All right. I'll end the poll in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let me end the poll and let's see the answer for this question. Let me broadcast the results. Now, 44% of you tell me that the answer for this question is choice C. 29% of you tell me that it's choice E. Another 15, almost 14% between choices, among choices A, B, and D. So let's look at this question. Let's read the question very nicely over here because this is the first question where the accuracy has dipped below 50%. Now, rectangle PQRS is placed inside square ABCD such that PQ is parallel to AB. Vertices P and S are 1 unit away from each of the two nearest sides of square ABCD. Find the area of PQRS in the side if the side of square ABCD is equal to 15. So the first thing to do over here is draw a proper diagram. Without a proper diagram, solving this question would become very, very difficult. So let's have this diagram. So we have ABCD, which is, again, understand, PQRS is a rectangle, ABCD is a square, right? Now, if ABCD is a square with side length 15, I've drawn that over here. And then I've drawn a rectangle inside ABCD, which is PQRS. The width of the rectangle is equal to W. The length of the rectangle is equal to L. Now, two very important things over here. It's given in the question that vertices P and S are 1 unit away from each of the nearest sides of square ABCD. What does that mean? It means that the distance of P from, that is this point P over here, from this side AB is also equal to 1 unit, from AD is also equal to 1 unit. The same is also for S. For S, which is this point, the distance of S from CD is also equal to 1 unit, and from AD is also equal to 1 unit. This was a very important information that's given in the question over here. Now, if point P and point S are both 1 units from AD, that means it's parallel to AD. It's also a rectangle, keep that in mind. So this is 90 degree and this is a square, so this is also 90 degrees. So that means SR, which is the length of the rectangle, is parallel to CD, which is the side of the square over here. With this information, let's move ahead. Now, what do I need to find out? I need to find out the area of PQRS, right? On a very generic basis, the area of PQRS is very simple. It's a rectangle, so the area would be length times the width. Now, what's the width over here? What's the length? That's something we need to find out. The width over here is the entire length, that is the length of AD, minus the distance of point P from AB, which is equal to 1 unit here, and the distance from point S to CD, which is again 1 unit. So from PS, that is, so the value of PS, that is the width of the rectangle, would be equal to AD, that is the side of the square, minus 1, that is this distance, minus 1, which is this distance. So essentially that becomes 13. The width of this rectangle becomes 13. Fairly simple. What about the next part? So I'll just simply put in the 13 part over here in this expression. I get the area to be equal to 13L. Now I need to find out the value of L. But do we have any information about point Q or point R? You know, they can be here as mentioned in the question, marked in the question in the figure. They can also be here, right? And for that, you can easily understand that the distance would increase. With that, the length of the rectangle would decrease. If it's further over here, let's say further towards PS, the length would decrease more. So essentially in the question, we do not have any information on the length, or not even any information through which we can find out the length over here, right? So since I cannot find out the length, I cannot find out the value of L, the area of PQRS, I cannot determine that because the value of L is not known to me, and hence the answer for this question is not choice C, but choice E. I hope the solution is clear to all of you. Now, what I feel is people who marked choice C calculated this perfectly. They calculated that the width of the rectangle is equal to 13, but they forgot to calculate that it's just the width. The length might change as well because it's not a square, it is a rectangle, right? So that's very, very important. So reading the question is very, very important for all of you. Now I'm going to open the short answer poll. Tell me, people who have marked choice A, B, C, or D, what was the mistake that you people committed? Where did you go wrong? Please mark your answer in the short answer poll. I've opened the poll for all of you. Assume 13. Okay. A very, very important thing in geometry. If there's an information that's not explicitly mentioned in the question, please do not assume, right? Expected things ourselves. Okay, assumption again. Over here, did not see option E. I am sorry for that, but please try to see the options. We all get 5 options for all questions, right? Thought it cannot be option E. Okay. Made the jump in assumption that other two vertices are also 1 unit apart. So what I can see over here that a lot of you did not, understand that. So some of you assumed, which is again something that I would not recommend in geometry or any of GMAT quant per se. And some of you also missed the fact that the distance of only P and S is given, not about Q and R. Now, again, one very important thing, whenever I write the denotation as this, PQRS, ABCD, they all are either in a cyclic order or in anti-cyclic order. That is, they are either on the clockwise direction. So A, B, C, D. So A, B, C, D this way. Let me mark that down. So you start off with A, then this is B, then this is C, then this is D. Or it would be this is A, then this is B, this is C, this is D. So this is the only two possibilities that we have. Generally in GMAT quant, we only do it in the clockwise direction, and that we have over here. Okay, so I hope the learning is very, very clear to all of you. With that, let's now move on to the next question. Again, for the same, just give me a moment. I'll reopen the poll. Please mark still solving, and we will move on to the second sprint. And in the meantime, okay, Vishwajit has a question. If the value of PNR would have been given instead of PNS, again, if PNR would have been given, Vishwajit, it would become a bit easy, because in that case I could clear out, since SR is parallel and parallel to CD. In that case, I would have been able to find out the answer. I guess it would be choice C if R was given instead of PNS. Very good observation, Vishwajit. Very good observation there. Okay, so with that, yeah, as I told you, it'll either follow the clockwise rule or the anti-clockwise rule, but any of these two rules. It cannot be like here I have A, here I have B, somewhere here I have C, or here I have D. It won't follow this rule. You can be perfectly sure about this one. Okay, so before moving to the next part over here, two very important things, or rather one very important thing is, we let out calls, and we if you're not an e-GMAT student, you can book a call with one of our GMAT strategy experts who will help you understand what are the different aspects that you need to keep in mind while preparing for your GMAT. So he'll talk about milestones, he'll talk about estimates that you need to keep, and the metrics that you need to track to make sure you reach your target score over here. If you want to book a call, you can simply click on this link, and I'll just open the link for all of you. And you can click on this button that you can see over here, which is help me score a 740, and then you can choose any of these options that we have over here. Now you might essentially be a part of any of these tile, right, which matches your problem area. So select that problem area which is which you resonate with your current level of preparation, will allot your mentor who would get a very clear understanding and will help you out in a much better format. Uh, okay, so that's there. You can just click on this tile over here, and then you can choose a date and time according to your preference. In case you do not have a date and time, write to us at support. We'll help you out to get a proper date and time according to your choice. If you are an e-GMAT student, very, very important, please make sure you have your personalized study plan, you understand that, and you understand the 3 stages of learning. We have 2 onboarding sessions every week on Thursdays and Thursdays and Fridays. Please make sure you attend that to understand each and every part of how do you prepare, what are the things that you need to track, and all of that. You can also get on a one-on-one call with one-on-one conversation with one of e-GMAT strategy experts over here. But yes, you need to be an e-GMAT student to do that in the onboarding session that we conduct. Right? If you need further details of the onboarding session, you can just write to us at support@e-gmat.com and we'll help you out with that. Okay, with that, I'll now move on to sprint 2. Sprint 2, I have already people marked still solving over here. So with that, the first question, all the best for this one, guys. All right, everyone. Last 10 seconds to mark the answer for this question. If you have not marked it yet, please do so. I'll end the poll in another 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and 0. Okay. Let me end the poll and broadcast the results. So I can see that 52% of you tell me that the answer for this question is choice D, that is 92 centimeter. Okay. 14% go with choice C, 9% with choice E, 7% with between choices A and B. All right, again, not that difficult. What I wanted to do, even before moving into the question, is just visualize what I'm talking about in this question. So let's look at what's given in the question first. Now, if the length of a rectangle is increased, so I have been given a rectangle, its width is decreased by this, it becomes a square. Okay, so a rectangle becomes a square when I do certain operations on its on the length of its sides, right? So I'll draw both of them together. I'll draw a rectangle, I'll draw a square. It's given that the area of the square is equal to 324 centimeters square. Now I know that the area of a square is simply given by the formula s square, and if s square is equal to 324, the value of s, or the side length, would be equal to 18 centimeter. So I have an area, I have a square which has a side length of 18 centimeter. Now it's given that I can get this square from a rectangle, right? This is the initial rectangle. Upon doing certain changes into its lengths, I get a square. Now what are the changes? The first changes, I increase x by 80%. X is the length of the rectangle, let's say. And if y is the breadth of the rectangle or the width of the rectangle, I decrease y by 50%. If I increase x by 80%, I get this. If I decrease y by 50%, I get this. Now I'm going to bring in the yes no poll, and all of you need to tell me how many of you approach the question in this manner. Mark a yes. How many of you approached the question in this manner? Okay. Now, the best thing about geometry is, and I tell a lot of students of mine, if you are to become, proficient in geometry, if you want to master geometry, even before solving the question, just think about the question, draw the diagrams. The question, once starts, coming in front of your eyes, it becomes easy, right? So that's the first thing that I want to do, and that is the reason I've drawn these two figures over here, so that it's clear to all of you, right? So thank you for all of your answers. I'm going to hide the poll and clear all the answers for this poll. Now, so x centimeter when increased by 80% becomes 18. Y centimeter when decreased by 50% becomes 18. So let's do these calculations. So when I increase x by 80%, that essentially means that x plus the increment, which is 80% of x, that is 0.8x, and that corresponds to 18. So 1.8x corresponds to 18. That means the value of x is equal to 10. All right, what next? I need to calculate the value of y as well. Now y, when reduced by 50%, right? So I need to decrease y by 50%, and by decrease, I mean I have to use a subtraction. How much 50% of y is the decrease? So y minus 0.55, that is the value of 0.5y is equal to 18, or the value of y is equal to 36. So I now have the length and the breadth of the rectangle. If I have the length and the breadth, what do I need to calculate? I need to calculate the perimeter, right? What's the formula for perimeter? Twice of the sum of length and breadth. That is 10 plus 36 times 2, which is equal to 92 centimeter, which makes the correct answer choice for this question as choice D. Now, mark a very quick yes if the solution for the question is clear to all of you. Again, the more you draw diagrams, the better you become solving these questions. Trust me, there's no secret of getting these questions correct. The only formulas per se in geometry that I used over here is only the area formula of a square and the perimeter of a square, right? Perimeter of a rectangle. No other formulas, and these formulas are very basic in nature, right? Okay, so perfect with that. Thank you for all of your responses. Let me clear all the answers over here. Okay, now let's now move on to the next question. Very similar. We'll just clear all the answers from here. Reopen the poll. Can you please mark us still solving? Let me give you the second question. The second question again is a very interesting question. Again, these are interesting, right? And I don't want you to make errors over here. I have 39 people, need another 11 people to mark us still solving. Okay, Ahmed asks me, where did I get 18? It's given in the question, right? That the area is equal to 324. Area of a square means side square. So side square is equal to 324. That means the side of the square has to be 18, right? I hope that's clear to you, Ahmed. Okay, I have my people. So let's move on to the second question. All the best for this one, guys. All right, everyone. The last 5 seconds to mark the answer for this one. Let's very quickly mark the answer for this question. Tapas has a question for me, how to get the recording of the session. We would send you the recording, Tapas. Do not worry, please. It would be sent to your email. All right, 3, 2, 1, and I will end the poll now. Okay, let me broadcast the results. So 57% of you tell me that the answer for this question is choice C, 11% go with choice D, 16% go with choice E, and A and B only 1% each. Okay, so let's now understand what's given in the question. Again, for doing this question, the first thing that I'll do is visualize and create the two diagrams. Now, area of a square ABCD is equal to the area of the rectangle PQRS if the length of the rectangle PQRS is 69% more than its width. Find the ratio of the perimeters of square ABCD and rectangle PQRS. Now, how many of you, mark a yes, how many of you have drawn the diagram properly? By that I mean proper diagrams, not small ones, not in only one diagram, not drawn it properly. How many of you did that? Okay. Now it's very clear why essentially the accuracy for this question is not that high. The basis, and I repeat this for the end, and I'll do that. The basis is I want you to solve questions. Think on questions before you solve them. I just don't want you to just pen down everything that you're thinking, do the calculations, and then do it that way. I don't want you to do that. Please make sure you draw it properly. Once that is done, move on to the question. I'll show you how to do that. Let's move into the question. Thank you for the responses over here. Clear all the answers, and let's get started. Now, what do I have? I have a square. I have a rectangle. So let me first draw a square. Let me assume that the side length of the square is equal to y units. This is something that I've assumed over here. Okay, now that I've assumed the side length over here, I also have a rectangle. Do I have any information around that rectangle? Yes, I do. The length of the rectangle PQRS is 69% more than its width. So I take the width of the rectangle to be equal to x. If the width is equal to x, the length would be x plus 69% extra of x, right? So that's 69% of x. I'll add that up. That essentially becomes 1.69x. This is what? This is the length of this rectangle that I have over here. Now the diagram is clear to me, right? So what do I need to find out? Find the ratio of perimeters of square ABCD and rectangle PQRS if the areas of these two figures are equal. So if areas of these two figures are equal, that means what? That essentially means area is equal to y square for the square, because the length of the side of a square is equal to y. Area would be square of that. What's the area of the rectangle? It's length times width, which is equal to 1.69x times x, which is 1.69x square. Now, according to the question, y square is equal to 1.69x square. You need to do a square root on both the sides. Now, anyone who knows the square of 13, you know that 13 square is equal to 169 for them. This would be very easy to understand. Someone who doesn't know the square of 13 might take 15 to 20 seconds to calculate the value over here. But yes, I would, if you are taking the GMAT, to make sure you answer questions good and you answer questions quickly, and if you're targeting that Q50, Q51 score, I want you to do two things, and these are good habits. Remember the values of 1 square till 15 square, or I rather recommend this to be 25 square. And for cubes, remember that for 1 cube till 15 cube. These are two very good habits. If you keep these numbers in mind, calculations become real quick. Okay, so now I have the value of y that is equal to 1.3x. What I did, I just simply did a square root on both the sides of this equation. Now, what do I need to find out? I need to find out the ratio of perimeters. If y is equal to 1.3x, I've just written that over here. Y is equal to 1.3x. Now, let me very quickly calculate the perimeter for the square. The perimeter for the square would be twice of, or essentially 4 times of the side of the side length, that is twice of 2.6x. I've just added these two sides, to make sure that I have a twice over here, which I'll later on cancel out. The perimeter for the rectangle is twice of length plus breadth, which is equal to twice of 2.69x. I need to calculate the ratio. So I can cancel out the 2's from the numerator and the denominator, then cancel out the x's from the numerator and the denominator. I have 2.6 divided by 2.69. Simplify that, it's equal to 260 divided by 269. Right? So the answer for this question, if that's the correct answer for this, choice C, that is 59% if you mark this one, is the right answer for this one. Again, tell me, in the short answer poll, was this that difficult? People who didn't get this question correct, what problems did you face solving this question? What problems did you face solving this question? Why did you not get to the correct answer choice? Didn't simplify. Okay, that's something that we always have to do. If you do not simplify, the numbers would look complex. Getting to the final answer becomes very, very difficult. Come on, I have almost 20 people, right? It was damn easy. Yes, I don't feel it's that difficult. It was easy in my opinion. Just a bit of calculation. That's it. Didn't label my diagram properly further without doing that. Yes, I'd recommend you to draw diagrams properly. If you do that, becomes very easy. I took W is equal to 100, L is equal to 169. Okay, I do understand where you are coming from. You want to take numbers. Again, is it a wrong method? Definitely not. Is it a method that works for all questions? Not at all, right? So that is also something that I want you to keep in mind. But yes, is it a wrong method or is it something that it's incorrect? No, it's not incorrect. But I'd rather want you to solve it via the variables as well, because you can cancel our variables very quickly, right? Very silly mistake, did an inversion ratio. That is also okay. Don't have a problem. But till the point in time that you understand the solution in and out, I am happy. Right? Okay, so with that, I'll reopen the poll. Let's move into question number 3 for the second sprint, and then we'll move on to the 700 level questions. Can we ignore x variable in answer? Yes, we can, when we have not taken the variable x now, Ritik. So I hope that clears your answer, that clears your doubt. Okay, let's get to 50 people, guys, very, very quickly. This is a 600 or a 700 question. This is a 650 to 700 level question, guys. Again, please understand the accuracy for this question is still in the 50s, right? So it's not easy. The moment you get an accuracy around that 70 to 80 percentage range, you can understand that's a 600 level question. If the accuracy is around 50 percentage, it's around that 650 to 700. If it drops to a 40 or a 30 or lesser than that, it's definitely around 710, 7 or more than 700, 750 level over here. Okay, with that, let's move on to question number 3. All the best for this one. The concept over here is very, very important. Please keep a focus on that. All right, everyone. Last 10 seconds for the answer for this one. If you have not marked it yet, please mark it in the chat pod. Aaron has a question. How long is the session? I'll take another 30 minutes of your time, Aaron. But I'll make sure that you're happy after those 30 minutes as well. Right? Okay. Last 3 seconds, guys. 3, 2, 1, and that is it. I'm gonna end the poll and broadcast the results. All right, let's see. 60% if you tell me that the answer for this question is choice D, 11% go with choice C, 9% with choice E. 5 people tell me that it's either A or B. All right, let's look at the question again without using my pen. I'll just read the question. Think on what's happening, right? So a border of uniform width n is placed around a square photograph. So I have a square photograph. So I have a square photograph and then I have a border to it. This is what the question is telling me. It's as simple as that. If the photograph has a side of length s, so the side length of the photograph is s. This is the square photograph that I have, right? I have to find out the area of the border. The border has an uniform width of n. So whatever this width is over here, that is equal to n, right? So this is the information. Now, how many of you created this diagram even before going into calculations, right? Mark a yes. How many of you did that? And I am very happy to see the percentage is changing. It's decreasing right now on the no part. Again, guys, I want you to do this. Trust me, it would bring you results that you would be very happy of. Geometry is all about visualization. And yes, if you visualize, would it help in any other subsections? Definitely yes. In word problems, in algebra, in advanced topics, it's going to help. It's a skill. A visualization is a skill. If you develop that in one subsection, that would help you in other subsections as well. Okay, with that, thank you for all of your answers. I'm going to move out the poll over here and clear all the answers. Let's now make a formal diagram of that, right? So I have a square photograph. I've taken the side length to be equal to s according to the question. The width of the photograph frame is given as the border is given as n. So the width is equal to n. Now, very nicely try to understand this. Just try to understand on this perspective. If the value of the width is n, this part is also n, this part is also n. Now, what is the length of AB? It's equal to the side length of the square, which is equal to x, plus the n over here and the n over here. So that is equal to s plus 2n. Similarly, for the length of AD as well, I have it as s plus 2n, right? Okay, now what do I need to find out? I need to find out the area of the border. How do I calculate the area of the border? The area of the border, that is the blue part, is essentially the entire big square minus the orange square, right? The smaller part that I have over here. Now, what's the area of the big square? It's side whole square. What's the side length? S plus 2n. Whole square of s plus 2n. What is the area of the small square? Side whole square. What is the side? S. So s square. This is in the form of a square minus b square. Now I am going to open the short answer poll. Tell me, in what way can I write a square minus b square as? Very quickly. I'm using your algebraic identities, knowledge over here. How can I write a square minus b square in a simplistic format? A plus b times a minus b. Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect over here. So I'll do the same thing over here. S plus 2n minus s, that is a minus b times a plus b. Now, if I have a plus s and a minus s, they cancel out each other, right? So I have a 2n over here. 2s plus 2n I have over here. I'll take 1, 2 outside. What will I have? I'll have 2 into 2n, that is 4n times s plus n. Which option is it? It's choice D. So the answer for this question is choice D. 61% if you got it correct, and I am happy. Now the information and the learning from this question would be used in the next question that follows, right? So let's now move into the next question and see how are you doing that. Okay, let me clear all the answers. Guys, please mark us still solving very, very quickly. Let me give you the next question. These two questions that I have over here are 700 plus level questions. Now we are moving into sprint 3. Okay, I have 37 people who have marked it. I need 10 more people, please. I'm at a 39, 41, 42, 46, 47, 48. All right, thank you. Let's go to the first question. All the best for this one, guys. All right, everyone, let's discuss the answer for this question. I give you another 5 seconds. If you have not marked the answer, please do so. Last 5 seconds for this one. All right, 3, 2, and 1. I'm gonna end the poll and broadcast the research. So 3% if you go with choice A, 32% if you tell me that it's choice B, 22% if you tell me it's choice C, that is with both the options, 9% if you tell me it's choice D, 19% if you tell me it's choice E. Okay, we will solve this question, but before moving into the entire solution, again, it's a DS question. I would want you to remember the options, guys. Please keep this in mind. If you are solving a DS question, please make sure that you remember all the options that we have for a DS question, right? It's important. Okay. Just a moment over here, please. Let me hide this out. All right. Now I'm gonna open the short answer poll. Can you tell me if you have found out the value of x, what is the value of x? Because if you calculate that, that would do half the question for you. What's the value of x? X is equal to 8 or x is equal to 4? Guys, it's 8 or 4. Okay, I have both the answers. It's okay. So half of you tell me it's 4, half of you tell me it's 8. We will check, but yes, it's equal to 4. So thank you for all of your answers. I'm going to end the poll and clear all the answers. Okay, so a border of uniform width x is placed around a rectangle A. So I have a rectangle A to create a bigger rectangle B. Okay, so I have another rectangle B. Rectangle A is inside rectangle B, right? If the difference between the perimeters of A and B is equal to 32 units, we need to find out what's the area of rectangle B. So that's what's given in the question. Again, without going deeply into solutions, what I would do is I'll draw the two figures over here. So I have the bigger rectangle, rectangle B, the smaller rectangle, rectangle A. According to the question, it's given that the width is equal to x, something very similar to the last question, right? What we did over there. So let's assume that for rectangle A, the length is equal to L, the width is equal to W. The width of the border is equal to x, keep that in mind. If the width of the border is equal to x, then what's the length of PQ? That is the length of the bigger rectangle. It's L plus 2x. Similarly, what's the breadth of PQ or the width of PQ? The width of the larger rectangle, that is equal to PS. It's equal to W plus 2x. Okay, very quickly, a yes, no poll. Please mark a yes if it's clear up till this point. If it's clear up till this point, please mark a yes. That is perfect. Okay, I'm going to end the poll and clear all the answers over here. Thank you for all of your responses. Let me put the poll over here. Okay, now it's given that the difference in perimeters is equal to 32 units, right? So what's the difference? Perimeter of the bigger rectangle minus the perimeter of the smaller rectangle. The bigger rectangle has sides L plus 2x and W plus 2x. The smaller rectangle has sides L and W. So 32, that's the difference given according to the question, is equal to twice of length plus width of the bigger rectangle minus twice of length plus width of the smaller rectangle. You solve it out. What do you get? You get L plus W plus 2x over here, 2x over here. So 4x minus 2 of L plus W. Solve it out. You get 8x in the right hand side, 32 in the left hand side. So the value of x is equal to 4. Okay, very quickly in a yes or no. Is this clear to all of you? The value of x is equal to 4. People who mark that to be equal to 8, I hope that's clear to all of you. Maybe you made a small mistake here or there. Okay, perfect with that. Let me clear all the answers for this question, this poll. Okay, so what do I have over here? I have the value of x. Now, what do I need to find out? I need to find out the area of B. That means I need to find out the area of B, that is L plus 2x times W plus 2x. That's how I calculate area of a rectangle, right? Length times width. Okay, the value of 2x would be equal to how much? 8. So the value of L plus 2x would be equal to L plus 8. W plus 2x would be W plus 8. If I simplify this, I have L times W plus 8 times L plus 8 times W plus 64. This is what I need to find out. Okay, so if this is what I need to find out, this is only through the question stem. I've not yet moved into the statements, right? Now let's first analyze statement one. What is the first statement giving us? The area of the border, sorry for this, the area of the border is equal to 72 square units. Now we have done something very similar in the last question. How do we calculate the area of the border? The area of the bigger rectangle minus the area of the smaller rectangle. What are the lengths of the bigger rectangle? These two. What are the lengths for the smaller? These two. So L times 8 times L plus 8 times W plus 8 is the area of the larger rectangle minus L times W is the area of the smaller rectangle. Solve it out. You would cancel out the L times W over here. You get the value of 8L plus 8W plus 64. Okay, so you get half the answer over here, right? You only get this value. That's equal to 72. Do you have the value of L times W? I do not have that. If I do not have that value, the first statement is not sufficient to answer this question. Hence, choices A, choices D cannot be the answer, right? Okay, very, very quickly. Is it clear up till this point? Is it clear up till this point? Please mark a yes if it is. Okay, that is perfect. Okay, that is perfect. Thank you for all of your responses. I'm going to hide the poll over here. Thank you for all of your answers. Now, the first statement is not sufficient. Now I'll move into the second statement. What is the second statement telling me? B can also be obtained. Okay, B is what? The larger rectangle, right? So the larger rectangle can also be obtained if each of the longer sides of A is increased by 80%. So I increase by the length by 18%. I increase the width by 100%. So by that, what do I mean? If the initial length was L, the width was W, the new length would be L plus 80% of L, that is 1.8 L. The new width would be W plus 100% of W. Sorry, this would be W over here, which is equal to W. So that would be equal to 2W. So this is what? This is the larger rectangle. What's the length of the larger rectangle? L plus 8. What's the width of the larger rectangle? W plus 8. So I'll just compare these two values. So 1.8 L is equal to L plus 8. That gives me the value of L to be equal to 10 units. 2W is equal to W plus 8. That gives me the value of W. Now, I have the value of W and L, so I can put it over here, here, here. I can get to the final answer. If I can get to the final answer, option B, statement B is a sufficient statement for me. And yes, if statement B is a sufficient statement, the answer for this question would be choice B. Very, very quickly, is the solution clear to all of you? Please mark a yes if it is. If you have any question, put that in the short answer poll. Let me very quickly open the short answer poll. Okay, if you have any question, because I see that there are some people for whom the second statement's analysis is not clear. For those people, please tell me what's the issue. I'll just very quickly clear that out. And let me increase this to see your comments. Okay, very quickly, guys, very, very quickly. What's the issue? I have opened the short answer poll already. Statements 2's analysis. Which part in statements 2's analysis? It is a time-consuming solution. I completely understand, but also understand this is Kush. Also understand that it's a difficult question, right? So you would expend some time because the reward is also proportional, right? So that is something that I would want you to keep in mind. Okay, I'll just go through this once more. It's given what? The longer side is increased by 80%. What do I mean by the longer side? By definition, the longer side means the length, right? The shorter side is increased by 100%. The shorter side means the width of a rectangle. Now, if the initial length is L, the width is W, right? B can be obtained if the length of A, that is the smaller rectangle, is increased by 80%. So I'm increasing L, that is the initial length, by 80%. So the new length would be 1.8 L. Now this 1.8 L is nothing but the length of B. And what is the length of B? We have already calculated. It's equal to L plus 8. Now if 1.8 L is equal to L plus 8, simplify that, you would get the value of L. Second part, the width is increased by 100%. By that I mean, if my initial width was W, I'm increasing that by 100% of W, right? So that is essentially W itself. So that is equal to 2 times W. And that, according to the question, is the width of the bigger rectangle, which is w plus 8. From here, I get the value of w. So from these two statements, from the second statement, I get the value of L, I get the value of W. If I get the values of both the L and W, I can simply put that in here and get out the final answer, right? I needed to calculate the area of B. That would be easy, right? Why did I equate them again? I had to equate them because what is the statement saying? B is obtained, right? That means the larger rectangle is obtained. That essentially translates to what? The length of the larger rectangle can be found out if you increase the length and width of the smaller rectangle. That's the information that the question is giving us. Okay. I hope that's clear to all of you. Okay, now very, very quickly, the same poll. I'm not going to change the poll. You have already marked a yes or a no. People who have marked a no, please tell me if the solution is now clear. And if it is, please change your answer to a yes from a no, please. From a no, please change it to a yes. Why is x taken as 2x? It's not taken as 2x. Again, it's not taken as 2x, guys. You need to understand. It's not taken as 2x. Let me very quickly go over here. The width is equal to x, right? Now it's calculated both on the right hand side, also on the left hand side. So the length would be L plus 2x because I have to add both the widths, right? So compare this to any photo frame that you have in your home. You have border on both the sides. If you need to calculate the entire length, you need to add the border's width to both the left hand side and the right hand side to get the final length, right? So that's something that we have done over here, right? Is that now understood, guys? Please mark a yes. If it's now clear to all of you, please mark a yes. All right, I've catered to almost all questions. So now let's now move into the next question. Question number 2. Again, question number 2 is also a DS question, and I'll give you that question. But before that, I'll reopen the poll. Just give me one moment over here. And yes, okay, sorry. Yes, please mark us still solving over here, please. Let's get 50 people mark us still solving. Let me give you the next question. The next question is even better. It's a bit difficult, but yeah, the learning that you would get from the next question is immense. All right, let's move on to question number 2 for sprint 3. Sorry. Okay, this is the question. Again, let me give you the options, otherwise you might have a problem. All right, everyone. Last 15 seconds to mark the answer for this one. I do understand this is a difficult one because you are taking quite some time. So let's take another 15 seconds, mark the answer for this question. Last 5 seconds. Three, two, one, and I'll end the poll here. Okay, let me broadcast the results. Let's look at here. 22% if you tell me that the answer choice for this is choice E, 48% if you tell me it's choice C. Now, whatever you've answered over here, how many of you have guessed the answer? Please mark a yes if you have guessed the answer. If you have made a guess, please mark a yes, because I know there would be some, because it's a trend that we have seen. Okay, so that's around 30% of the class have guessed the answer for this question. Okay, perfect. I love honesty. Okay, so thank you for all of your responses. I'm going to end the poll and let me take the poll over here. Just give me a moment, please. All right, and let me also hide out the DS options. This is not required, right? Okay, now let's draw. Again, without moving into the question, calculations and all of that, I'm first willing to draw and then moving into the question. First, let's read the question. Trapezoid ABCD of area 39 square inches is placed inside rectangle PQRS. So I have a rectangle. Let me draw that for all of you. And then I have a trapezoid, right? I have a trapezoid. This is what I have. Now, vertices A and B of the trapezoid, let's say this is vertex A, this is vertex B, because it's given that if the trapezoid is ABCD, the rectangle is PQRS. So this is PQRS. Sorry, here is R, here is S. And even again, P can be here as well. It's the same. Like you can start off with this point as P, then Q, then R and S. It will be the same, not any difference over here. Vertices A and B of the trapezoid are 1 inches away from each of the nearest two sides. So this point A is at a distance of 1 inches from this side and 1 inches from this side, very similar to B, right? 1 inches from this side, 1 inches from this side. Vertices C and D of the trapezoid are 1 inch away from the nearest side of the rectangle. Okay, now I'm talking about this, right? How many of you think that even for C and D, this would be point D and this would be point C? How many of you feel this? Let me bring in the yes no poll and reopen the poll. How many of you feel this, that even for this question I'll have these 2 points as C and D? Okay, now any of you who feel this cannot be the answer. I cannot have C and D at the places of A and B, or I would rather say parallel to A and B, because in that case I'll not have a trapezoid. This would become a rectangle, right? Is that understood? The 5 people who have marked a yes, is that understood? In that case, my figure would become a rectangle. It will not become a trapezoid. So that is the reason I cannot draw this figure. This is the first thing that I wanted all of you to keep a note of. Okay, thank you for all of your answers. Let me clear that out. Okay, anyone having a question that these 2 points cannot be parallel to A and B? Anyone who has a question on that? Okay, perfect. Again, why? Because they cannot be, it will turn into a rectangle. It will not be a trapezium. For a trapezium, it cannot be this figure, right? This cannot be a trapezium over here. Okay, now let's move on to the next part of the question. Let's move on to the next part. What do I have? I have been given the area of the trapezoid. The area of the trapezoid ABCD is given as 39 centimeter, 39 square inches, sorry, 39 square inches, and is placed inside rectangle PQRS such that AB is, so okay, so that's what's given. So let's first calculate. If the area of trapezoid ABCD is equal to 39, so I'll write 39. And what's the formula? The formula is sum of parallel sides times the height, half of that, right? So half of AB plus CD, that's my parallel sides for the trapezoid, times the height. Now I've assumed the height of the trapezoid to be equal to h units, right? So that is equal to 39. Multiplying both sides by 2, I get 78 to be equal to AB plus CD times h over here, right? I'll get 78 to be AB plus CD times h. Now, what do I need to find out? I need to find out the area of rectangle PQRS. How do I calculate the area of a rectangle PQRS? The area of a rectangle PQRS would be equal to PS times SR. Now, what is PS? That is this length. This length is my entire height plus, since this is 1 unit and this is 1 unit, the length of PS would be equal to h plus 2 times S into R. By that I mean this length over here. Now what is S times R? That is equal to AB plus, again, since this is equal to 1 units, this is equal to 1 units, that would be AB plus 2 units. Now I'm bringing the yes no poll. Can you please mark a yes if it's clear to all of you? If it's clear to all of you, please mark a yes. All right, absolutely perfect. Okay, thank you for all of your answers. I'm gonna clear the answers for this poll and now move ahead with the next part. Now, what's the next part? The next part is moving into the statements. Keep this in mind. I need to find out h plus 2 times AB plus 2. The first statement, what does it tell me? It tells me that the length of CD of the trapezoid is 50% less than the length of RS of the rectangle. So let me assume that the length of RS is equal to S units. If RS is equal to S units, it also means that PQ would be equal to S units. Now, CD is what? 50% lesser than RS, right? So whatever the length of RS is, CD is RS and 50% lesser than RS. So that is equal to S minus of half of S, that is 50% of S. So CD would be equal to 0.5 times S. Now, in the question stem, I need to plug in, because you people remember, right? We had this information, the area of trapezoid, 78 is equal to AB plus CD times H. Now, I have the value of S over here. CD over here. But can I get the values of AB or H? There are too many unknowns, right? I don't know S. I don't know H. I do not know the value of AB. Nothing is known to me. Since I don't have these information, I don't have the values of AB or H. The first statement is not sufficient to answer this question. Is this clear to all of you? Please mark a yes if it is. I do not have the values of H or AB or any of that, hence I cannot mark the answer for this one. Okay, perfect. Let me now move on to the next part. Thank you for all of your responses over here. Okay, now let's move on to the next part. Okay, I have a very interesting question. Isn't AB S minus 2, Rahul? Absolutely correct. AB is S minus 2. But do I know the value of S? I do not know the value of S, right? I do not even know the value of H, Rahul. And if I do not know these values, can I find the answer? I cannot find the answer. But yes, observation is spot on. Okay, now let's move on to the second statement. What is the second statement saying us? The length of AB of the trapezoid is 20% less than the length of the side RS of the rectangle. Okay, so AB, if SR is equal to S, for example, our AB would be equal to 20% lesser. Now, what do I mean by 20% lesser? It means S minus 0.2S, that is equal to 0.8S. Now, something that Rahul pointed out and something that even you people know. AB is what? SR minus 2, right? So I'll use the same information over here. The length of AB plus 2 would be equal to the length of SR, because this is 1 over here, this is 1 over here. So AB plus 2 would be equal to SR. So from here, I get the value of S. I get the value of S. So if I put in the value of S over here, I get the value of AB. AB is equal to 8 units that I can get over here. Now, if AB is equal to 8, but do I still know the value of H? I do not know the value of H even here. You can put in the value of AB over here, but then still there are two options, two variables over here, CD and H, cannot solve it out. Then statement 2 even is not a sufficient statement to answer this question. If this is clear, please mark a yes. I do get the value of AB, but I do not have any idea about CD or H. I definitely need the value of H for my answer. Since I cannot get the value of H, makes no sense, right? So statement 2 is insufficient. All right. Thank you for all of your answers. Let me clear out this poll over here. Now let's move into the next part. If I combine both the two statements, I have two very important pieces of information. I know from the second statement that S is equal to 10. I also know from the first statement that CD is equal to half of S. Now, since I know S is equal to 10, I can calculate the value of CD, right? CD would be equal to 5. Now, what I'll do is I'll put in the value of AB. Since I know the value of S, I also got the value of AB. AB was equal to 8, right? Okay, AB was equal to 8. I have the value of CD. Putting in the value of AB and CD over here, I get the value of H. Okay, I have the value of H. I have the value of AB. Can I mark the answer? Yes, I can. If I can mark the answer, what would be the answer for this question? Combining both the statements, I can reach the answer. So choice C is absolutely correct for this one. If it's clear to all of you, if the analysis of statements 1 and 2 together is clear to all of you, please mark a yes. And that was the reason I took a bit of time explaining this question, because I wanted all of you to understand this question in and out, right? So that's there. But yes, I'm very, very happy that you could understand this question in and out, and that's a very big relief for me. Okay, now that we have solved almost 15 questions, I guess, 4 plus 6 over there, 12, right? 12 questions in total, right? Okay, so now that we have solved 12 questions, I'm gonna keep the poll over here. Tell me, in the short answer poll, how was the session? What did you learn from the session? And if you want me to improve something, please let me know that as well. Lot of learning, that's so good to see. And again, guys, one word answers is something that I don't like. I would love if you could tell me something else. If you draw EB near to PQ, again, I understand the question won't change. Whoever this is, the question won't change. Trust me on that. The answer, I mean, sorry for that. Need to read question stem carefully. Yes, very, very important. In geometry, you won't face that much issues, very honestly. I'm being very honest over here. In geometry, you won't face that much issues. But when it comes to word problems, number system, algebra, if you don't read the question properly, you would get questions incorrect. And I don't want you to do that. Please do not do that. Wording of questions should be taken care of. All right, I've taken that feedback. I'll take that into consideration. I'll check that out with my verbal team once. Again, please understand, we are all quant experts, right? So that is there. But yes, I don't want to create any confusion. If you had any, we'll make sure that you don't have that in the next session. But isn't it repetitive? Yes, we have the same session once a month. So if you have attended the last session, this is the same session. However, we are into works of 2 more sessions, right? We are into works of 2 more sessions, and I'll be talking about that. But before I move into that, I just want you people to tell me what kind of sessions would you be wanting. So what are some sessions that you would want us to conduct? Labeling of diagram is really important. Yes, very important. Yes. Okay, Sagar has a question. I'll take that question, Sagar. Just give me around 3-4 minutes more, please. Okay, now since I am making a few sessions for you people, I want you people to tell me what kind of sessions do you want? RC sessions, there is an RC session already. Harsha, who is supporting me, takes the RC session, and we do have good number of questions over there as well. We teach a lot of important things. Quant DS session, we are in works. We already have an algebra session. If you've not attended that, I would recommend you to do that. It's on linear inequalities and absolute values. Right, advanced topics, I've already created a session, so I'll launch that in another 2 to 3 weeks, max to max. Trust me on that. We'll have an advanced topic session as well. I've completed making that session over there. What problems? Okay, if you can also tell me specific areas where you people falter. 700 plus questions is a very nice session. I'm definitely taking that into consideration. Okay, I'll take care of this. I'll take care of this, all of you. Okay, that sounds perfect. So with that, now let me ask you this question. 2A's GMAT quant, is it difficult? It is not at all difficult. Trust me, you just need to focus on the learning and adopting good habits. Once you do that, things start becoming very, very easy for you, right? I have 3 success stories for you. First is Maharan. She got in from a Q42 to a Q49. How? She was very scared of quants, by the way, constantly scoring a V40 plus, but the only area that she was struggling with was quant. She went through the new quant course, and if I've not gone through the free trial, I'd recommend all of you to go through that. It's a fully adaptive course. You only learn what you need to learn, right? So please do that. And then she used the solutions and the feedback, and then excelled from a Q42 to a Q49. Mark over here gotten a Q49 right on his first attempt, and definitely he was not scoring that well, hovering around that Q41 in the marks. And but then he went into Quant 2.0, got into the learning. It also focuses on how the foundation topics helped him understand the baseline and get him the proper learning that is tested on the GMAT. Obviously, the PSP, the personalized study plan, is a very, very important tool if you want to crack GMAT in a proper way, right? Anant over here got into a 7-15-75 days. Again, what he used was the diagnostic quizzes, because Quant 2.0 told him what are his weaker areas. Now, once you understand weaker areas, mastering them becomes very easy. If you do not have data, you would be shooting in the dark. But if you have data, proper data, you are taking decisions which are backed by something that would work for you, right? So these are things that I even want you to take care of. We have some more testimonials on the new course that we have launched, the Quant 2.0 course. If you have not checked that out, guys, please do have a look. You also get the access to Scholaranium. So I would recommend you to solve some questions. Just have a feel. That's it. That's something that I would want you to take care of. Okay, now questions. If you have any questions related to GMAT, related to geometry, related to GMAT strategy, again, many of you, if you are an e-GMAT student, if you have seen me conducting sessions, if you have seen me replying to your mails, so you have anything on that front, please ask me. I'll be very, very happy to answer any problems that you have over here. I'll take the question of Sagar. How to manage time solving 700 plus questions? Again, if you are taking time solving 700 plus questions, but not taking time in easier questions, that essentially means that you are essentially lacking in the application of the concepts. So you know the concepts, no doubt about that, but you don't know how to apply it in a quick amount of time. So I would recommend you to go through the application and the process files that we have over here, right? Please do that. How many 700 plus questions can we expect in geometry? That completely depends, Manoj, on how are you performing on the tests, right? Where to practice more 700 level questions in quant? You can try Scholaranium. If you don't have access, you can just create a free account, test questions from that. We have a lot of difficult questions over there. Okay, now I have some questions over here. Is it okay to take GMAT and go for MBA in India after having 9 years of experience? Yes, it's completely fine. We have had a lot of people who have done their MBA, post 35, post even, we have also a few candidates who've done that post 36, 37. So that's there. When we'll be having a session on probability? Okay, I'm creating a session. So the PNC session, that is permutation combination, is already done. Probability would be completed by Tuesday. Expect a session within the next 3 weeks. I can promise you that. You can expect a session within the next 3 weeks. Abhishek, you can write to us at support. Support would be a better judge of that question over there. But yeah, work, time, rate are areas where I see that students falter. I'll take care of that. I'll try to create a session around that as well. Any other question? Session on how to implement. How can we access permutation session? So basically what I'll do for all of you is, so we'll take the session in another 3 weeks, right? All of you would get the notification. Kindly register for the session and you would be able to access that session over there. I'll take that session in another 3 weeks. So around the end of July is when you can expect that session to be taken, right? Many B schools and programs are offering GMAT. Wherever we recommend to do GMAT at a later stage application required by Dream B schools. Again, if you are applying to good B schools, if you are applying to B schools where you would want a scholarship, GMAT is necessary, right? I understand that GMAT waiver is present over there, but also understand for scholarships and all of that, and to increase the weight of your applications, GMAT is a necessary ingredient over here. CR session, we are having a CR session in another 2 weeks, if I'm not wrong. So next week we are having, or another 3 weeks, if I'm not wrong. Yes, we have a CR session at the end of this month, towards the end of this month. Please make sure you open the mails that we send you. You can register for that session. How do you draw diagrams on an online GMAT? Isn't it very difficult with no scratch paper? I understand. That's something that you have to practice. A lot of students come and tell me the same thing, that it's becoming difficult only because we are into that habit of using scratch pens and all of scratch paper and all of that. But yes, you have to do that. That is something that I would recommend all of you. Will e-GMAT support an application process? We directly do not, but we have some resources that would. But yeah, if you get a good score, we would help you out on that. If you get a good score, trust me, if you get a good score, we'll help you on your application process as well. I would we can give you some idea on how to go about the entire process. Please interview LBS admit students like you did for INSEAD students. Yeah, so let's see. We have some really good students who are taking admissions this year. I'll try to get that one for you. I'll try to get that one for you, yes. Online GMAT versus offline GMAT, a lot of my students are taking the online test. They have sometimes complained it's a bit difficult, provided the network might fluctuate and stuff. If you are at a good city, I would say go for the offline test. If you are some place that you need to travel and all of that, if your internet connection is really good, if you don't have any power issues, if you have a good power backup, internet backup, you can take the online GMAT. It's completely okay. Some people also tell me that the online GMAT is difficult. Please don't fall into those kind of things. The online GMAT is not difficult. It's the same. It's not at all that difficult, or any much difficult with respect to that. Your opinion on variable approach to DS question. What is the variable approach? I'm not aware of that. Can you just give me a better idea? So what we teach at e-GMAT is analyze question stem, only then move into statement 1, then move into statement 2. And if you mean that we need to keep variables till the end, I would say yes, you should. You should not put in random numbers and solve questions for DS. You are going to fall in traps, by the way. Did you run into a body blow? Okay, that's a funny question. But there are some students, who are planning for their MBA. They're completely okay. They are getting into good colleges. Right. Okay. So thank you guys for attending the session. I hope you had a wonderful time with me. I will again conduct next sessions. So I conduct sessions every weekend on Sundays. If you want to attend those, you can simply register for those webinars. We have a strategy session the next weekend, and then an RC session, which Harsha would take the next weekend. So please do attend those sessions as well. Very, very important for your preparation. Right. So I'll be looking forward to seeing all of you in those sessions. Also, let me take a moment to thank Harsha for being such a wonderful support for me for today's session. Thank you, Harsha, for being there with me. And with that, thank you all of you. I'll see you again in the next session. Till then, keep up a very good health and take care of yourself. Good night and bye bye.